Today we will study double integrals in polar coordinates. So, in fact, we will study the double integrals in which the integrand and the region of integrations are expressed in polar coordinates. Such integrals are important for two reasons. First, they arise naturally in many applications, and secondly, many double integrals in rectangular coordinates can be evaluated more easily if they are converted to polar coordinates. So, the double integrals are easier to evaluate if the region of integration is expressed in polar coordinates. And it is usually true when the region is bounded by cardioid, rose curve, spiral, or any curve whose equation is simpler in polar coordinates than in rectangular coordinates. For example, if we consider a quarter disk as shown in this figure, this is the shape of the quarter disk. Here the point is 0, this is x equal to 2, and this is 0 and this is 2, and this boundary is under root 4 minus x square. So it means this is the quarter disk which lies between 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to under root 4 minus x square, and for this x lies between 0 and 2. If we express it in polar coordinates, then it can simply be described as r lying between 0 and 2 and theta lying between 0 and pi by 2. This is the line. In that case, this is theta equal to 0 and this is theta equal to pi by 2, and r lies between 0 and 2. So this equation 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to under root 4 minus x square, and where x lies between 0 and 2, can simply be converted into 0 less than or equal to r less than or equal to 2, where theta lies between 0 and pi by 2 in polar coordinates. Similarly, the double integrals whose integrand involve x square plus y square also tend to be easier to evaluate in polar coordinates, because if we substitute x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta, then it means r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. If you take r square common, it is cos square theta plus sin square theta. So this sum x square plus y square simplifies to r square. Now we consider some simple polar regions. Now figure A shows a region in a polar coordinate system that is enclosed between the two rays theta equal to alpha, theta equal to beta, and the two polar curves r equal to r1 theta and r equal to r2 theta. If the functions r1 theta and r2 theta are continuous and their graph do not cross, then the region is called the simple polar region. The condition is the curve should be continuous. These functions r1 theta and r2 theta should be continuous, and the graphs do not cross each other. If r1 theta is identically equal to 0, then the boundary r1 theta reduces to a point which is the origin, and the region has the general shape shown in this figure. Because if r1 theta is 0, this will shift to this origin. So this is the shape of the region. If beta is equal to, this angle beta is equal to alpha plus 2 pi, alpha plus 2 pi means this is the alpha, plus 2 pi means this complete rotation. If beta is equal to alpha plus 2 pi, then the ray alpha theta equal to alpha and theta equal to beta coincide, and the region has this shape. Here this is the line theta equal to alpha and theta equal to beta, where beta is equal to alpha plus 2 pi. Here r1 theta is 0 and this is the boundary r equal to r2 theta. So these are some simple polar regions. So a simple polar region in a polar coordinate system is a region that is enclosed between the two rays theta equal to alpha, theta equal to beta, and two continuous polar curves r equal to r1 theta and r equal to r2 theta, where the equations of the rays and the polar coordinates satisfy the following condition. First is alpha should be less than or equal to beta. Secondly, beta minus alpha should be less than or equal to 2 pi. And third is r1 theta is always less than or equal to r2 theta, and r1 theta and r2 theta are always greater than or equal to 0. So if we combine alpha less than or equal to beta and beta minus alpha less than or equal to 2 pi, these together implies that the ray theta equal to beta can be obtained by rotating the ray theta equal to alpha counterclockwise through an angle that is at most 2 pi reason. And these conditions are consistent with the figure. Now this condition 0 less than or equal to r1 theta less than or equal to r2 theta implies that boundary of the curve r equal to r1 theta and r equal to r2 theta can touch each other but cannot actually cross over one another. So in keeping with the figure, it is appropriate to describe r1 theta as inner boundary of the region and r equal to r2 theta as a outer boundary of the region. Now the polar rectangle on which we are going to calculate the double integral. So it is simply a polar region for which the bounding polar curves are circular arcs. So for example, this is the polar rectangle which is shown in blue color, and it is bounded by theta equal to pi by 6, and this is theta equal to pi by 4, and this is r equal to 1.5, and this is r equal to 2. So this is the polar rectangle and is given by 1.5 less than equal to r less than equal to 2 and pi by 6 less than equal to theta less than equal to pi by 4. Now if fr theta is continuous and non-negative on r, then the double integral in polar coordinates can be evaluated as the integration of fr theta over the given region, and this is called the polar double integral or double integral in the polar coordinates. Double integrals over the region in the xy plane are called double integrals in rectangular coordinates, and the double integrals in polar coordinates have the usual integral properties. Now how to evaluate polar double integrals? So for this we have a theorem. If R is a simple polar region which we discussed in previous slides, whose boundaries are the rays theta equal to alpha, theta equal to beta, and the curve r equal to r1 theta and r equal to r2 theta, which is shown in blue in this color. And if f is a function of r and theta, which is continuous in this region, then the double integral of fr theta in the region R is equal to iterated integrals of fr theta multiplied by R. First we integrate it with respect to R between the limits R1 and R1 theta and R2 theta, then with respect to theta between the limits alpha and beta. Notice that the extra factor R appears in the case of polar double integrals. Although fr theta is considered to be non-negative, but it can be proved that relationship between the polar double integrals and iterated double integrals also hold if f has a negative value. This is the polar double integral and this is the iterated integral. To apply this theorem, we need to be able to find the rays, this alpha and beta, and the curves, these r1 theta and r2 theta, from the boundary of the region R, since this determines the limits of integration in the iterated integral. So to evaluate the polar integrals, we will calculate it in terms of iterated integrals, and for this we should know how to calculate the values of these alpha, beta, r1 theta and r2 theta, which are the limits of integration in this iterated integrals. Now we will learn how to determine these limits. Suppose we have a simple polar region, because in the iterated integral, first we are integrating with respect to r, then we are integrating with respect to theta. So in the first case, theta is fixed. Since theta is held fixed for the first integration, we draw a radial line from the origin through the region R at a fixed angle theta. This is shown red in color. This is the radial line from the origin through the region R at a fixed angle theta. This line crosses the boundary R at most at 2 points. It cannot cross more than 2 points. The innermost point of intersection is on the inner boundary of the curve R equal to R1 theta, and the outermost point is on the outer boundary of the curve R equal to R2 theta. And this point R equal to R1 theta and R equal to R2 theta determine the R limits of integration. So after finding the R limits of integration, we will find the theta limit of integration, and for this we imagine rotating the radial line. This is the radial line. This is called the radial line. This is drawn from the origin through the region R. We imagine this radial line to rotate about the origin and sweeping out the area in the region R. So the least angle at which the radial line intersects is theta equal to alpha, and the greatest angle is theta equal to beta. So these determines the theta limits of integration. So now it is easy to calculate the it is easy to determine the limit of integration for a polar double integral. First of all, we will draw a line through the origin, from the origin through the line through the region R at a fixed angle theta, and we observe that it crosses the curve, inner boundary of the curve at R equal to R1 theta, outer boundary at R equal to R2 theta. These are the R limits of integration. Then we imagine it rotating about the origin and sweeping out the region R, and it will intersect the angle theta equal to alpha and the greatest angle at theta equal to beta. So these are the theta limits of integration. Now we will evaluate the double integral of sine theta over the region R, where R is the region in the first quadrant, that is outside the circle R equal to 2 and inside the cardioid R equal to 2 into 1 plus cos theta. So first of all we will sketch this region. So R equal to 2 is this circle. This is the circle R equal to 2, and this is the sketch of the curve cardioid R equal to 2 into 1 plus cos theta. Now we need to find the double integral in the first quadrant. This is the first quadrant, and we will take the region outside the circle. This is the circle. We are going to consider the region outside the circle. So this is the region outside the circle and inside the cardioid. So this shaded portion is the region which is given to us. So this is in the first quadrant, outside the circle and inside the cardioid. This is the shape of the circle and this is the shape of the cardioid. So in the first example, in the first quadrant, if we draw a radial line through the origin, from the origin through the region, we observe that it intersects the boundary of the circle at r equal to 2 and at the boundary of the cardioid at r equal to 2 into 1 plus cos theta. Now we imagine rotating the radial line about the origin, thus sweeping out the region, this shaded region. So it intersects the line at theta equal to 0 and here at theta equal to pi by 2. So the limits of theta limits are from 0 to pi by 2 and r limits are from 2 to 2 into 1 plus cos theta. This is the line theta equal to 0 and this is the line theta equal to pi by 2. Smallest angle is theta equal to 0 and greatest angle is theta equal to pi by 2. Therefore, the double integration of sine theta over the region R is equal to the iterated integral of sine theta multiplied by R. R is the term which appears in polar double integrals. When we convert it into iterated integral, so it is R and limits of R are from 2 to 1, 2 to 2 into 1 plus cos theta and limits of theta are from 0 to pi by 2, which we have seen in this figure. Now first we will integrate with respect to r. So sine theta is constant. Sine theta can be written outside. Integration of r is r square by 2. Limits are from 2 to 2 into 1 plus cos theta. Now substitute the upper limit minus substitute the lower limit. So r square means 2 into 1 plus cos theta whole square upon 2 minus the lower limit 2 square upon 2. Substitute in place of r. Now if you say this is 2 square means 4 and this is 2. So 4 upon 2 is 2 and this is 1 plus cos theta whole square minus 4 upon 2 is 2. So this is 2 into 1 plus cos theta whole square minus 2. Here 2 is constant and also we can write it into two integrals using the property of integration to evaluate this integration. So we can write it as 2 I have written outside because it is constant. So here it is sine theta and it is 1 plus cos theta whole square d theta. This is the first integral. Now the second integral, 2 is constant and the sine theta d theta limits are from 0 to pi by 2. So I have, for the sake of simplicity, I have written into two parts so that we can separately evaluate these integrals. So to evaluate this integral, this is sine theta into 1 plus cos theta whole square. Limits are from 0 to pi by 2. We substitute 1 plus cos theta equal to t because otherwise it will be complicated to evaluate. So if you put 1 plus cos theta equal to t, then it means derivative of cos theta is minus sine theta. So minus sine theta d theta is dt. Now here the lower limit is 0, upper limit is pi by 2. If we substitute theta equal to 0 here, it means cos 0 is 1. So t is equal to 2. If we substitute theta equal to pi by 2, cos pi by 2 is 0. So t equal to 1. So earlier the limits of integration were from 0 to pi by 2. Now the limits of integration are from 2 to 1. We have substituted 1 plus cos theta equal to t. So minus sine theta d theta is dt. If we use this here, the limits are from 2 to 1. Sine theta d theta is minus dt because here we have minus sign. So sine theta d theta is minus dt. So this is minus dt. 1 plus cos theta whole square is t square. So this is now we have simple integrand. This is t square here. And integration of sine theta is minus cos theta and limits are from 0 to pi by 2. This is simple to integrate. Now integration of t square is t cube upon 3, limits are from 2 to 1 and this is minus 2 into 1 minus cos theta 0 to pi by 2. Now we will substitute first upper limit then lower limit. So it will be 1 upon 3 minus 2 cube upon 3. 2 cube is 8 upon 3. Here it is minus 2. Now it is minus cos pi by 2 minus minus cos 0. So minus minus is plus cos 0. So 1 upon 3 minus 8 upon 3. It is minus 7 upon 3. So minus 7 upon 3 into minus 2. 14 upon 3. Here it is minus 2. Cos pi by 2 is 0. Cos 0 is 1. So it is 2. 14 upon 3 minus 2 is 8 upon 3. So now the sphere of radius A centered at the origin is expressed in rectangular coordinates by x square plus y square plus z square equal to a square. Hence, its equation in cylindrical coordinates is r square plus z square equal to a square because x square plus y square is r square. We will use this equation and a double polar integral to find the volume of the sphere. So in cylindrical coordinates, the equation is r square plus z square equal to a square. It means z square equal to a square minus r square or z equal to plus minus under root a square minus a square. So it means upper hemisphere is given by, this is the equation of, this is the upper hemisphere which is bluish in color. This is the upper hemisphere. Upper hemisphere is given by z equal to under root a square minus r square. And lower hemisphere is z equal to minus under root a square minus r square. So I have written only upper hemisphere. So it means the total volume enclosed by entire sphere is twice the volume of upper hemisphere, means twice the polar integration of under root a square minus a square in the given region, where r is the region shown circular in this diagram. It is shown greenish in color, and if you draw it separately, so this is the shape of a circle, and radius is a, and observe that theta varies from, if you take rotate it about the radial line, if you draw the radial line here, and if you rotate about the origin, so sweeping out the region r, then theta varies from 0 to pi by 0 to 2 pi, and r varies from 0 to a. So the cylindrical coordinates of the upper sphere is under root a square minus a square minus r square. So the volume of total sphere is equal to twice the volume of this hemisphere, upper hemisphere. So it means volume is equal to twice the double polar integral of under root a square minus a square minus r square in the region r, which is circular, which is shown greenish in color. So it is equal to the iterated integral under root a square minus r square multiplied by r. I have multiplied by r because we do this in polar coordinates, and limits of r are from 0 to a, and limits of theta are from 0 to 2 pi. This too I have written inside the bracket for simplicity. Now to evaluate this integral, we will substitute under root a square minus r square equal to t. If we substitute a square minus r square equal to t, so it means minus 2r dr equal to dt. Here the limits of r are from 0 to a. So if we substitute r equal to 0, it means t is equal to a square. If we substitute r equal to a, that means a square minus a square is 0. So t equal to 0. So the limits 0 to a can be changed to a square to 0 on this on substituting a square minus r square equal to t. So this is equal to under root a square minus r square. So this is under root t 2r dr. This is minus sign here. So 2r dr is minus dt. So it is dt, and I have written minus sign here. And this is d theta. This is d theta. Limits for theta are from 0 to 2 pi. So I have changed this iterated integral with respect to dr d theta to dt d theta on substitution. So if we integrate first with respect to t, the integration of under root t means t is under root t means t raised to power 1 by 2. So integration of t raised to power 1 by 2 is t raised to power 1 by 2 plus 1 upon 1 by 2 plus 1. So it is t raised to power 3 by 2 upon 3 by 2. So limits here are from a square to 0. First substitute the upper limit. So it is 0. I have not written the 0 part, minus the lower limit. So it is a square 3 by 2. So a square raised to power 3 by 2 means 2 will cancel out. This is a cube. Now this is 3 by 2. So it can be written as 2 by 3. So this is the minus because this is for the lower limit. Now minus 2a cube upon 3 is constant, and this is a minus sign, this is also minus, so it is 2a cube upon 3. We are left inside only with 1. So integration of 1 is theta within the limits 0 to 2 pi. Substitute the upper limit. So 2 pi minus 0 means 2a cube upon 3 into 2 pi is 4 pi a cube upon 3. So we have found the volume of the sphere by using polar double integrals. Now we will find the area using double integrals. We also discussed area in Cartesian coordinates. So it is nothing but the integration in the region, double integration in the region, in the given region. So now we will use this formula to calculate the area enclosed by 3 petaled rows are equal to sine 3 theta. We know how to sketch this graph. So this is the graph of 3 petaled rows curve. See, all the petals are symmetrical in shape. So it is sufficient to calculate the area of the petal in the first quadrant, and then we will multiply it by 3 to get the area enclosed by the 3 petaled rows. So in the case of first quadrant, observe that if we draw a radial line here, so it crosses the curves at r equal to 0. Here it is 0, and here it is sine 3 theta. So limits are our limits of integration are from 0 to sine 3 theta. And if we imagine rotating this radial line about the origin, sweeping out the region R, then it will intersect the least angle at theta equal to 0 and greatest angle theta equal to pi by 3. So theta limits of integration are 0 to pi by 3. So we have found the limits of integration. R varies from 0 to sine 3 theta, and theta varies from 0 to pi by 3 in this first quadrant. So it is equal to we have area of 3 petal rows is equal to integration of thrice the double integral in the given region, and this is equal to 3 times the iterated integrals with respect to r between the limits 0 to sine 3 theta and with respect to theta between the limits pi by 3. And here also, when we convert double integral in case of polar coordinates to iterated integral, we have r. So integration of r is r square by 2 limits are from 0 to sine 3 theta. So if we substitute the upper limit, this is sine 3 theta whole square upon 2, means sine square 3 theta upon 2. If we substitute the lower limit, this is 0. I have not written the 0 part. So sine square 3 theta upon 2, 1 upon 2 is constant, so we can write it outside. So this is 3 by 2. Sine square 3 theta is 1 minus cos 6 theta upon 2, because we know that Sine square theta is 1 minus cos 2 theta upon 2. So it is 3 theta here. So we have written 6 theta. So it is sine square 3 theta is 1 minus cos 6 theta upon 2. Now the limits of integration are from 0 to pi by 3. We will integrate this with respect to theta. So again 1 by 2 is constant. So I can write it outside. So this is 3 by 4. Inside we have 1 minus cos 6 theta. Integration of 1 is theta. Integration of cos 6 theta is sine 6 theta upon 6. Because integration of cos theta is sine theta. So integration of cos 6 theta is sine 6 theta upon 6 because coefficient of theta is 6. So limits of integration are from 0 to pi by 3. Now substitute the upper limit. So it is pi by 3 minus sine 6 pi by 3. 6 pi by 3 means 2 pi upon 6. And for lower limit, this is 0, this is 0. So I have not written the 0 part. Now sine 2 pi is again 0. So it is pi by 3. So 3 and 3 cancel out. So we are left with pi by 4. So we have calculated the area of the 3-petal rose curve using polar double integral. Now, how to convert the double integral from rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates? Sometimes a double integral that is difficult to evaluate in rectangular coordinates can be evaluated more easily in polar coordinates, making the substitution x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta and expressing the region of integration in polar form. And in this case, we write the double integral of the function f, which is a function of x and y in the region R, as double integral of the function f, which is a function of r and theta now, and we have made the substitution x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. So we can convert into iterated integrals f r cos theta r sin theta into r multiplied by, we always multiply by r, dr d theta, and between the appropriate limit, which we will determine using the sketch of the figure which we discussed in previous slides. Now we will find the integration of x square plus y square raised to power 3 by 2, which is given in rectangular coordinates between the limits 0 and under root 1 minus x square. These are the limits of y. Between minus 1 and 1, these are the limits of x. Now we will use polar coordinates to evaluate this integration. So first of all, we will sketch the graph of this region, which is for which y varies from 0 to under root 1 minus x square and x varies from minus 1 to 1. If we sketch this graph, then this is a region, this is the line x equal to minus 1, this is the line x equal to 1, and this is the line y equal to 0, and this is the curve y equal to under root 1 minus x square. So this is the sketch of the region which is given to us. So this is the sketch of the region which is given to us, for which y integration runs from 0 to under root 1 minus x square, and it tells us that lower boundary of the region is the x-axis and upper boundary is the semicircle of radius 1 centered at the origin. Now we will determine polar limits. So for the polar region, this is the region swept out as r varies from 0 to 1. Here, because this is 0, 0 and this is 1, so for the polar case, r varies from 0 to 1, and theta varies from, this is the line theta equal to 0, if we rotate the radial line about the origin, sweeping out the region, so it means if we rotate it like this, so it means theta varies from 0 to pi. Here it is theta equal to 0 and this is theta equal to pi. So the polar in polar coordinates, the region is swept out as r varies from 0 to 1 and theta varies from 0 to pi. So this integration of x square plus y square 3 by 2, which is the iterated integral, first with respect to y between the limit 0 and under root 1 minus x square, then with respect to x between minus 1 and 1, is equal to double integral of x square plus y square, double integral of x square plus y square whole raised to 3 by 2 in this region, which is shown blue in this figure. And this will be equal to, in terms of polar coordinates, this is because if you substitute x equal to r cos theta, y equal to r sin theta, then x square plus y square is equal to r square, because r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta means r square into cos square theta plus sin square theta, and cos square theta plus sin square theta is 1, so x square plus y square equal to r square theta. So if we convert into polar coordinates, so it will be r square raised to power 3 by 2 means r cube, and r we write it in polar coordinates, and dr d theta. Limits of r are from 0 to 1 and limits of theta are 0 to pi, as we discussed just now. So this is r cube into r means r raised to power 4. So integration of r raised to power 4 is r raised to power 5 upon 5. Limits are from 0 to 1. So if we substitute the upper limit, so it is 1 upon 5. If you substitute the lower limit, minus 0. So I have skipped the 0. Now we will integrate it with respect to theta. 1 upon 5 is constant. Integration of 1 is theta. Limits are from 0 to pi. So it is, substitute the upper limit minus the lower limit. So it is pi minus 0. So means outside we have 1 upon 5. So it is pi upon 5. So we have seen the region, the convergence of polar coordinates worked so nicely in this example is that the substitution of x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta collapse the sum x square plus y square into the single term r square, thereby simplifying the integrand. Earlier it was appearing to be complicated, x square plus y square raised to power 3 by 2, and now this is simple because x square plus y square is r square, so here it is only r cube term. So whenever you see the expression involving x square plus y square in the integrand, you should consider the possibility of converting into polar coordinates. Thank you.